Why do so many people feel poorer every month, even when they swear they are not spending like crazy? The real question is not, can you afford the first payment? The real question is, how many future paychecks have already been claimed before you even get paid? That is the part buy now, pay later makes easy to miss. It does not usually feel like debt in the moment. It feels like convenience. It feels like a softer version of the price. It feels like the store is saying, do not worry. You do not have to feel the whole cost today. But money does not disappear because the payment is smaller. It disappears because the decision was split into pieces small enough for your brain to ignore. And that is why buy now, pay later can make people feel poorer and poorer, even when each individual purchase looks manageable. This video is not about shaming anyone for using a payment plan. Real life is expensive. Emergencies happen. Cash flow gets tight. Sometimes people use whatever option is available because the alternative feels worse. But if you want to understand why your paycheck keeps feeling smaller, you have to look at the invisible schedule that may already be attached to it, because the danger is not only the purchase. The danger is the pile of small future promises. Start with the moment of checkout. You see something that costs $120. Maybe it is clothing. Maybe it is electronics. Maybe it is a gift. A home item, a beauty product, a travel expense, or something you have been wanting for months. If the screen only says $120 today, your brain has to deal with the full number. You pause, you compare it to your bank balance, you ask if this is worth it. You may still buy it, but at least the decision has weight. Then the same checkout page shows another option, 4 payments of $30. Suddenly the purchase feels different, not cheaper, just lighter. And that little emotional difference is the entire business model. The price did not fall, your income did not rise, the product did not become more necessary. The only thing that changed was the way the pain was displayed. This is the first trap. Buy now, pay later does not reduce the cost. It reduces the feeling of the cost. And when the feeling of the cost goes down, the chance of saying yes goes up. That is why the most important question is not whether 4 payments sound affordable. The better question is, will you still buy this if the whole price had to leave your account right now? If the answer is no, the payment plan may not be solving the problem. It may be hiding it. Now, one payment plan by itself may not ruin anything. One $30 payment might be fine. One $50 payment might be fine. One small installment might fit easily inside your budget. But almost nobody gets into trouble because one small payment looked big. They get into trouble because many small payments look small at the same time. That is the second trap. Each payment plan is sold to you alone, but your paycheck has to face all of them together. The app does not always know about the other app. The store does not feel the rent payment. The checkout button does not care about groceries next week. The 4 easy payments do not ask, how many other 4 easy payments are already waiting? Your future paycheck has to answer that question later, and by the time later arrives, the decision already feels old. That is why people can look at their bank account after payday and think, where did it go? The answer is often not one dramatic purchase. It is a calendar full of tiny claims, rent, utilities, phone bills, subscriptions, credit cards, and now buy now, pay later payments from decisions made weeks ago. So payday does not feel like control. It feels like your paycheck arrived already divided. And if that sounds familiar, the problem may not be that you are bad with money. The problem may be that too many systems are designed to separate the pleasure of buying from the pain of paying. That separation is powerful. When you buy now and pay now, the decision and the consequence happen together. When you buy now and pay later, the good feeling happens today, but the cost waits for a future version of you who may have less room, less energy, and less flexibility. This is why buy now, pay later can feel so harmless in the moment and so heavy later. It borrows emotional space from your future. At checkout, the payment plan says, relax. This is only $30. 2 weeks later, it says, remember me? Then another one says the same thing. Then another one. And suddenly, the future version of you is not deciding what to do with money. That person is cleaning up decisions that already happened. Here is the contradiction. Buy now, pay later is marketed as flexibility, but too much of it can make your life less flexible. Because real flexibility is having money that is not already promised to someone else. If your next paycheck is already attached to 6 installment payments, 2 subscriptions, a credit card balance, and normal bills, then the money is technically coming in, but your choices are already smaller. That is what makes people feel poorer and poorer. Not always lower income, lower available income. There is a difference. Income is what you earn. Available income is what is still free after past decisions, fixed bills, and automatic payments take their piece. Buy now, pay later attacks available income because it turns today's desire into tomorrow's obligation. And the tricky part is that the obligation looks reasonable. That is the third trap. Small payments create the illusion of affordability. Affordability should mean the whole purchase fits into your life without damaging your future options. But many people use a smaller test. Can I handle the next payment? That is a dangerous test because almost anything can look affordable when you shrink the number enough. A $400 purchase feels serious. 4 payments of $100 feel easier. 8 payments of $50 may feel easier still. But if you would not comfortably pay $400 today, why is the same $400 safer? Just because it is spread across future paychecks. Sometimes spreading a cost is rational. A necessary expense, a planned purchase, or a short-term cash flow mismatch can be handled carefully. But the danger begins when the payment plan becomes the reason you buy. If the only reason the purchase feels affordable is because the price was chopped into smaller pieces, the purchase may be bigger than your real budget. And this is where the word interest-free can be misleading. Even if there is no interest, there is still a cost, cash flow pressure, mental clutter, possible late fees or overdraft fees, return headaches, and the bigger cost of making your future income less available. The Federal Reserve's 2026 report on U.S. household economic well-being said buy now, pay later use rose to 16% of adults and 11% of BNPL users had a payment trigger an overdraft or non-sufficient funds fee in the prior year. That detail matters because the issue is not just whether people like the product. The issue is what happens when small automatic payments collide with real bank balances. Bankrate's BNPL survey found that about half of users reported at least one problem, including overspending, missing a payment, regretting a purchase, or trouble with a return. Again, this does not mean everyone who uses BNPL is irresponsible. It means the product has a real behavioral risk, and if a product makes the buying decision feel smaller than the repayment reality, then ordinary people need a stronger rule than can I make the first payment. Here is a better rule if you would not buy it at full price today. Do not let 4 small payments convince you that you can afford it tomorrow. The full price is the truth. The installment is just the timing. Now think about why this works so well psychologically. Most people do not walk around calculating future cash flow in detail. They are tired, they are busy. They are comparing prices while dealing with work, family, bills, food, rent, and constant ads. So when checkout gives a smaller number, the brain grabs it. Not because people are foolish, because the system is designed to lower resistance. The checkout page does not say this purchase will reduce your available income next month. It says only $30 today. It does not say this may overlap with other installment plans you forgot about. It asks whether your present self wants relief, and present self usually wants relief. That is why this is not only a money problem, it is an attention problem. Buy now, pay later competes for the weakest moment in the purchase. The moment when you want the thing and want the pain to be smaller. It gives you a story that feels responsible. I am not spending $120. I am only spending $30 today. But your bank account will eventually experience the $120. It may just experience it in pieces at inconvenient times, surrounded by other obligations. This is also why BNPL can quietly increase spending. When prices feel smaller, people may buy more, upgrade more, or say yes sooner. The purchase does not have to be reckless. It only has to be slightly easier than it should have been. One easier yes becomes another easier yes. And before long, your budget is not broken by one bad decision. It is crowded by many reasonable-looking decisions. That crowding is the real problem. Your paycheck can only do so many jobs. It has to pay for today, clean up yesterday. And if you want financial progress, build something for tomorrow. But buy now, pay later pushes yesterday's wants into today's paycheck. So tomorrow gets squeezed. That is why the feeling is so frustrating. You can be earning money and still feel stuck. You can be working hard and still feel behind. You can avoid huge purchases and still wonder why your money has no room. Because room is not only destroyed by big expenses, Room is also destroyed by small commitments that repeat, overlap, and arrive automatically. So, how do you use this knowledge without becoming extreme? You do not need to hate every payment plan. You need a plain rule for when a payment plan is helping and when it is hiding. Here are 5 questions. First, would I buy this at the full price today? Second, is this purchase necessary, planned, or emotionally triggered? Third, how many future payments do I already have? Fourth, what happens if my income is late, lower, or interrupted? Fifth, what would this money do if it stayed free? Could it build an emergency fund, pay down a balance, keep next month calmer, or simply give you breathing room? That last question is important because not every good financial decision is dramatic. Sometimes the win is not getting richer overnight. Sometimes the win is not making your next paycheck smaller before it arrives. Now, if you already use BNPL, do not turn this into guilt. Guilt is not a budget. Shame does not organize payments. The useful move is to make the invisible visible. Open every app. Write down every future payment. Put the due dates on one calendar. Add the total that will leave before your next paycheck and the paycheck after that. Then ask one brutally simple question. If I saw this whole schedule before checkout, would I still say yes? That question can change your behavior because it reconnects the purchase to the consequence. And that is what the checkout screen tries to separate. It wants the purchase to feel like today and the payment to feel like later. But your financial life is not divided that neatly. Later becomes now. Every time. This is why the strongest people with money are not always the people with the highest income. They are often the people who protect their future cash flow. They do not ask only, can I make this payment? They ask, what does this payment do to my next decision? Because money is not only numbers, money is options. When your future paycheck is free, you have options. When your future paycheck is already claimed, you have obligations. And too many obligations can make a decent income feel like a trap. So the next time a checkout page offers 4 easy payments, pause for 5 seconds. Do not ask whether the first payment is small. Ask whether the full price deserves space in your life, whether next month's paycheck is already crowded, and whether this purchase is worth making your future self pay for it. If the answer is yes, and the purchase is planned, necessary, and safe inside your budget, then you're making a conscious decision. But if the answer is no, and the only thing making it feel affordable is the smaller number on the screen, that is the trap. Buy now, pay later does not make you poorer because it exists. It makes you poorer when it trains you to ignore the full cost, crowd your future paychecks, and call delayed pressure convenience. The plain money rule is this. Do not let a smaller payment hide a larger decision. Your future paycheck is not free money waiting to be claimed. It is the money your future self needs to live, breathe, recover, and build. Protect it. This video is for financial education and general analysis only. It is not investment, tax, or legal advice. All financial decisions involve risk, and your situation may be different. And here is the question to leave with. If every buy now, pay later payment you owe next month appeared as one big bill today, would you still think the purchase was affordable?